Hi, everybody. It is Kathryn, Casey Hill Narcisi. I'm not feeling well today, but I felt it was an appropriate time to do the second part of my vlog that I'm doing. I had been asked initially by the people from Haunted in New England who did start the GoFundMe to help with my medical expenses. And this has turned into a very informative to help many people who have autoimmune diseases and for their friends and family, not just for my friends and family and for my Facebook family and for my social media family to follow my story and to know about what's going on with me, but to help others to understand autoimmune diseases and how they affect others and how serious that they can be. So this Friday, we found out after we have started about, I'd say, maybe 6 or 7 weeks ago, to go through a series of events, beginning with having an MRI done, that we discovered that I had apparently tumors in 3 parts. One being in my kidney that they originally told us was a kidney stone, the other being on my liver, the other being in my breast. So now on Friday, leading up to my kidney doctor finally calling us after we had a CAT scan done on Monday to follow up and see what was going on with what they originally saw on the MRI. And, we don't know definitively what they saw on the CAT scan, but we do know whatever they saw was compelling enough that my doctor's words were, I'm not going to be at the hospital that we usually do your surgeries for at least 2 months. I'm booked solid, and I don't think we should wait that long. So we can do it at this hospital or this hospital. Gave me 2 choices and was very persuasive for me to have him do this surgery in 2 weeks. So with that said, I felt it was an appropriate time after then yesterday thinking, because in addition to my kidney doctor calling and setting up the surgery, I had preemptively at my appointment, I had my annual appointment to check in with my hematologist, who is also my oncologist. And the reason why I am right now only seeing him annually is because that system of my body, thank God, has been stable. I don't currently have cancers, knock on wood, to our knowledge as of right now. And blood system wise, my autoimmune diseases have not been attacking the blood system. They've been stabilized. So that's a great thing. So in other words, my iron's been doing well. My platelets have been stabilized. And even with the chemo. So that's, a wonderful thing. And so I asked him, I said, so if they are correct, and this is a tumor, and they do surgery and they go in, what's the deal with a tumor in the kidney? And he informed me that if I have developed a tumor in my kidney, tumors in the kidney don't develop unless they're cancer. It's not like other parts of the body where you can develop the fibroids. If a tumor develops in the kidney, it's cancer. You don't develop fibroids in the kidney, apparently. This does not happen. It very rarely happens. So more often than not, it's cancer. And apparently, so then yesterday, after all of this occurring, I'm like, you know what? So if I have a tumor, it's cancer, and my doctor is, stating he's confident it is a tumor. So I look online because, I want to know about this kidney cancer. What's the deal? And apparently, so I know that he also said that this tumor is in the collective part, the collective duct of my kidney. Meaning, so your kidney processes your urine, and then it goes into the collective part, and then it goes through your ureter into your bladder, and then, you go to the bathroom. And so it's in the collective duct. And apparently, and for those who have been following my story, for those who haven't, at the age of 20, started having symptoms of autoimmune disease. And, in 2009, had such a life-threatening episode. I was diagnosed first with systemic lupus after having years of flare-ups, life-threatening flare-ups, even where my right kidney had shut down 3 different times, but had a flare-up where I actually had my gallbladder rupture inside of me. And it progressed since 2009 to the point of this last year, 2017, where my husband and I ended up needing to go. We're in Rhode Island, and we needed to go to Boston, Massachusetts, to the major hospital in a different state where they have a lupus center. And we're told that I have something called undifferentiated connective tissue disease, which means that you basically have the symptoms of like all of the most deadliest autoimmune diseases and multiple other autoimmune diseases. And it's just like, so it's like this rare thing that occurs, and it's deadly, and it's insanity. And, when you have it in the form that I have it, where it's this aggressive, like people live like maybe 3 years, 12 years. So we already have, this going on, and I'm like, read this, and it says, so if you have a tumor in the collective duct of your kidney, it's rare, and it's the most aggressive form of kidney cancer. And you only have a 1% chance of this happening. Are you kidding me right now? Like, seriously, are you kidding me? So I have on my social media right now everybody praying that they're wrong and it's not a tumor, because I'm just so, like, seriously, this is what happens with autoimmune diseases. Why is this happening? When you have an autoimmune disease, and I'm going to go over this during this video, but this is the process. This is called the end stage of autoimmune disease. This is the damage. This is the process. This is how autoimmune diseases kill people. People don't die from autoimmune diseases. It's kind of like people don't die from cancer. People don't die from the diseases themselves. They die from the other things that they cause, the damage that they cause. And in the case of autoimmune diseases, the autoimmune diseases cause cancers and other diseases that end up making the organs go into failure, and then you die from that. And I am not ready to die. So I have 5 children, I have 4 grandchildren, I have a husband to live for, and I have a lot of other things to live for. I have a lot at the age of 44 that I want to accomplish, including figuring out, and getting the information that I've already figured out to help other people to battle these autoimmune diseases one way or the other. So I really pray to God, and that is what
I am going to be starting to do with my husband today is just praying, because I believe in the power of prayer. And I also believe in healing. I am a certified Reiki healer, and I am going to be doing special healing every night to, because I believe in both. I believe in a lot of different things. I am very holistic, organic. I believe in alternatives. I do acupuncture. I believe in diet. I believe in exercise. I believe in all of this balance in life, truly. So, but when I woke up this morning, I was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to do that video. I was supposed to do it a few weeks ago. Um, and I also woke up to over 100 emails between my social media and my email and a lot of them I was seeing were people asking questions. And I read through like at least 10 of them that were specifically asking me questions like, how did you get the tumors, and what kind of tumors are there? And, so did the methotrexate, which is the form of chemo that I'm on, cause the tumors? And what exact autoimmune diseases do you have? And so you keep saying that you have all of your organs affected except for your spleen. How is this affecting you? What things do you have going on? People are asking these questions on a daily basis. Sometimes it's just like a few dozen people. Some days it's hundreds of people, and there's only one of me. So I figured, you know what, today is the day. I'm going to make a video. So this video is going to be about from me, and so this can also help anyone who's watching it to understand if you have a loved one who has an autoimmune disease. And please don't get scared, because most people with autoimmune diseases have mild forms of autoimmune diseases, and there are many autoimmune diseases that never get severe like this. I have a very rare form of a combination of autoimmune diseases. So how I've been explaining it to people is, if you've ever seen a movie called the I think it was called The Storm. It was with George Clooney, and it was about a bunch of hurricanes that intersected all and became one hurricane, and it made this big supercell hurricane. And this is what's happened to me. So I've had a whole bunch of autoimmune diseases that have all come together, and I have what's called undifferentiated connective tissue disease. I have the symptoms of almost every autoimmune disease that is severe, and many, many others. And that made it very difficult for my doctors to, they were scratching their head, and they were like, and then as I'm getting sicker and sicker and worse and worse and worse, they're like, this doesn't make sense. And then they had to figure out what was the alpha diseases involved. So I have the undifferentiated connective tissue diseases, what my diagnosis was when we went to Boston. Okay. And, so lupus and scleroderma if you look that up, are the main diseases involved in RA. So scleroderma and lupus are the diseases attacking my organs and making me this sick. The scleroderma is the main one attacking the organs and being this aggressive. Scleroderma, in the form that I have, is called diffuse systemic scleroderma. It is not the common scleroderma, unfortunately. The common scleroderma is a little more tame and a little more controlled. Yes, it's still deadly, but the one that I, of course, end up having is diffuse systemic scleroderma, which is internal, and it is like sneaky. It is also very, very like a 2-year-old. It just does not respond to anything. It does not, it's defiant. It so in other words, it doesn't respond to treatments. So I am resistant to treatments. So they'll give me something and it'll seem like I'm having an allergic reaction, but it's the scleroderma saying, nope, I'm not having anything to do with this, is what's going on. And it makes it impossible to treat. So I have one thing that they can do for me right now. That is a form of chemo called methotrexate. And why they are doing that is because in November, in the fall, before they sent me to Boston, my primary doctor finally sent me to Boston because I was going to die. My heart had become so unstable and my other organs were becoming so unstable that something was going to stop working. And I couldn't even walk. I could barely get out of bed. My husband, they started chemo to destroy my immune system because it was my immune system. The autoimmune disease, makes your immune system start attacking the things that it's not supposed to. And it was attacking every organ, literally, everything internally of mine, from my esophagus to my teeth to all of my muscles to like my connective tissue. I mean, like my muscle tissue, like my connective tissue, like up in here was like so knotted up that, I mean, it was like balls all inside and very painful. My legs, I couldn't walk, literally, no joke. My husband would have to like help me get out of bed. I would wrap my arms around his neck and he would drag me into the bathroom for me to go to the bathroom. We have handicap rails on each side of the toilet in both of our the downstairs toilet and our toilet in our bathroom. In the tub, we had to completely make the shower handicap access with we have the seat in it. We had to remove the door. So it just has a shower curtain. I mean, we had to completely handicap access. Even we have a rail even going into the outside access from our garage into the house. I have a disability placard for the car. I mean, I was really sick. People don't realize it because I wasn't like, oh, hey, I'm in a wheelchair, I can't walk, but, that's how it was. And when he took me to my first chemo injection to get that injection, I got out of bed that morning. He, helped me get out of bed. I used my cane and I was like, you see like elderly people that are shaking and they can barely walk. That's how I was. And, it took me about probably 20 minutes to get down the stairs from our bedroom to our downstairs. Then I walked out the door to the, he helped me every step of the way. And actually our 13-year-old was behind me. It took two of them to get me outside and into the wheelchair. And I could barely lift my head that morning. I mean, I was just like slumped over. I was like this. My oxygen was down to 85%. My heart was so unstable that my heart was running between 150 to 200 beats per minute because my heart was just like out of control. And I was on a beta blocker. It wasn't working. I was on blood pressure medication, but my blood pressure was at 150 over like 100. It didn't matter. I was on water pills, but my weight was at 225. Wasn't getting rid of any water retention. I mean, nothing was going on with my heart. I was taking breathing treatments with a nebulizer plus a rescue inhaler. Breathing treatments every 6 hours wasn't helping to rebound my oxygen. I mean, nothing was helping. And it was because it was my immune system attacking everything. And that wasn't even including my esophageal dysfunction that I have was out of control, meaning I, at that point, couldn't even eat
at all. And that's how like everybody knew, like the weight wasn't like from me eating, because I couldn't even eat anything. Like at that point I was hardly eating anything at all, because I would go to eat and I have esophageal dysfunction. So what that means is my esophagus, from the years of my immune system attacking it, is slowly not working. It, at any given point, I could just be sitting here talking to you, I could be eating, I could be drinking, will just like stop working and I'll choke. Like I'll just like choke on food, choke on water. And so that would be happening. It would sometimes happen in the middle of the night where I'd wake up like like gasping for air because my esophagus just stopped working, and I'd start choking on my own saliva. Like this was my life. I'm lucky to be alive. I'm blessed to be alive. Thank God. Thank Jesus I'm alive. Like, thank you, God and Jesus, that I'm alive. My husband, at that point, life became not only me being bedridden, and I'm like the person that went from, my husband and I are newlyweds. We got married December 25th, 2016. Today is May 6th, I believe, 2018. It's May 2018. When this was happening was November 22nd, I believe, was my first chemo injection. It was November 2017, though, this past November. So my husband and I had only been married for about a year. But prior to that, my husband and I had only started dating in July of 2016. And prior to that, I was a single mom. And even through the disease, I was running my own company, His and Her Secrets, which was a home party company. I was taking care of, I had 5 children. And even when my 3 older ones grew up, I had my 2 little ones, my 13 and 14-year-old, who I was raising alone, that my husband just adopted. My 14-year-old has severe autism. Like, active person. I've always been about like getting up in the morning, going for a jog, exercising, working out. And once I started getting sick in 2009, like I fought it every step of the way. I bought exercise equipment for in the house, when I stopped being able to go to the gym and go for a jog in the morning. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Like my throat is really dry. I have Sjogren's disease is another one of my diseases, and I'll go over all the diseases momentarily. I wanted to give like a bullet point, and then I'll go over all the diseases so it like get more in detail. So Sjogren's disease sucks all the water out of you, and I'm having a dry day, so I have to periodically drink something. This is part of my life. So life back then, though, the first day of my chemo starting, was we had had to start carrying a heart monitor with us, meaning like one of those little oxygen meters. It tells you what your oxygen level is. It tells you what your heart, because, my husband needed to know, did he need to take me to a hospital, like for emergency help? That's how bad it was. That's how unstable I was. And that was per my doctors. That wasn't us being paranoid. That was my doctors said, you need this. My doctors ordered at that point not 1, but 2 visiting nurse staffs coming in. We had a CNA coming in to help me wash my hair because I couldn't even bathe myself. We had physical therapy coming to the house because I couldn't get out of the house for it, and they were trying to, keep me going. A nurse, an RN from 2 different nurses. One that was coming in weekly, one that was coming in monthly. And then a blood pressure cuff we needed in the house. The needle to take my sugar, all of this stuff, everything to make sure, to test things, make sure I'm stabilized. Insanity, going from being like, what is this? Like 20 different medications I think I take a day just to keep me stable. And
most of them don't even work, really. I mean, I'm stable, but, like the thing that stabilized me was my chemo. So when I got there that day, we get the injection. My husband wheels me back out to the car. I also was, had extreme pain. And when I say extreme pain, I mean we at one point had to look for alternative pain management because morphine and Dilaudid and like the most extreme measures of pain management would not touch my pain. And I was waking up in the middle of the night crying with paralyzing pain. And that had started in fall of 2016, and I had been dealing with that for a year. And where my husband would have to get up and get me my pain management and give it to me because I could not move my arms and my legs, and I could not speak, and I would just be crying with tears rolling down my eyes. And now, for those who don't know me, I've had 5 children. I'm not a baby, and I'm not a person to usually speak about what's going on with me. I went for as long as I did without a diagnosis because it didn't matter to me, I guess. I refused maybe, but I was just like, I'm never going to get that sick because I'm the person who had 4 live births, 1 C-section, and the 4 births I had were 13-hour labors. 3 of them were 13-hour labors. 1 of them was an hour, but I didn't have medication for any of them. Any medication. And, I have surgeries and take ibuprofen after and refuse narcotic medication. This is the person I am. No matter what's happened with these diseases, I have not taken medication. So, and my oldest daughter, who's had 3 children, says I'm insane because she gets, the epidural or whatever when she has babies, and she's like, I love it, and that's just me. I don't take medication. I'm not, I prefer that. So for me to even accept medication, is, but for me to not be able to talk through pain, for me to be crying, that means something. So like my doctors knew, and that when we had to go, and that's why they were like, okay, you have to go to the alternative treatments for pain that are out there because and something's really wrong. So they do the injection, and within like 5 minutes, and it was weird because it was like the side they did the injection on, like I could feel first where my pain, like where the pain started subsiding on one side. It was almost like I could feel my immune system dropping, like going away. Like, okay, it's not attacking. Like I could feel the injection, like killing off that immune system where it was attacking, because that's where the pain was coming from, was my immune system attacking. And my husband, 10 minutes later, we're driving, he goes, honey, check your heart rate. My heart rate was 79 and my oxygen was 100%. 100%, and my heart rate was stabilized at 79 10 minutes later. Amen. Praise Jesus. Thank God. The methotrexate, the form of chemo they used, worked. In that moment, and, this was a starting point. And we had hope. This was only the beginning because we were only in the beginning process of all this. So we didn't know what we were in for or what was going to happen. So I'm grateful that my journey that I'm through the power of Facebook and Facebook Live and social media, and that I own my own business, and that I, am a singer and do my singing thing with my husband, so people know me through that, and people know me through my business. And I have such a huge social media and whatnot, and all of this other stuff, that I am able to be getting my story out there and sharing, and hopefully it's going to help others, because maybe someone else is suffering the way I was and they can see what helped me and tell their doctors. Or maybe it can inspire someone that, there is hope. Or maybe it can help family members and friends to understand, oh my God, I didn't realize it's that bad. Or, whatever my story can help people with. Not just for myself, and certainly to help my friends and family and those who care about me to understand, how bad this is. And that, I'm not being whiny and cryy by sharing on my social media. I'm just trying to, be informative to help people understand, because I've been keeping a lot to myself. So we initially, like I said, so back when I was 20, originally I was just diagnosed with Raynaud's phenomena. Raynaud's phenomena means that it's a disease that attacks your vascular tract, that's your veins, causes you to not circulate. That, ironically, is the precursor, I didn't know this back then, to these major autoimmune diseases like lupus and RA and scleroderma and all of this. Nobody told me this back then. I thought nothing of it. Whatever. What does it cause? Well, the reason why they had diagnosed me with it was because I went out to play in the snow with my children one day, and my hands felt like they were on fire and became crippled, and I couldn't even play out in the snow with my kids. And then another day I went to make meatballs and roll the meatballs, and just from the meat being in the refrigerator and that temperature of coldness, same thing happened. I mean, it hurt my hands. I felt like someone had taken a sledgehammer and physically beaten my hands. So in other words, if any cold at all touches my hands, it physically feels like you might as well have taken a metal mallet and repetitively beaten my hands. That's how much any degree of cold on my hands feels. I'm not even exaggerating. And I mean, it does other things too, but that's that was the oh my God, something's wrong here. This is